page. Got to get in the habit of getting the right name on this thing. There we go. So this is going to be server 1. And its password. Awesome, I did not type the word server 1 in there. How cool is that? So we just start /start. Okay, we can close that one. And that's server 1, which is our Bungee Cord server. Let's start another one, server 2. That is the lobby server. Server 5 is the Demon Depths server itself. Server 7 is the module maker, and that's the important one that I want for tonight. I'm gonna type the username wrong. That extra space killed it. Server 7. Grab that. Screen minus. Oh no, wait, star. Everything has updates tonight. Don't update, please. No. Okay, so we've got everything going now. We've launched Minecraft so that we can make sure we're got everything going correctly and we got the right servers, because I need to know the server name for what I'm about to do here. And this is my FTP client. Going to go ahead and connect to the server here. Server 7. Okay, inside server 7 we should find the world. And this should be all the data. There's no way for us to really list out in this program what the size of this is. So let's go ahead and grab a local folder somewhere. We're on the D drive now. Temp, I guess. And I'll say DD world. DD world. Select that folder, copy it out. Let's see how long it's going to take, and it is done already. Dang. Love it. Just because it's not that big of a world. Okay. So now how do we get that into... Hey, Deltrick. It is going good. How are you doing? Recovering from the power loss from the night. I had to get my servers and stuff started up here. We're actually done with this now that we know that it's running. Oh, okay. That's what that was. Now I need a Minecraft 1.12 instance, which I thought I created one. This one. If I go to Edit Instance and Worlds, View folder. There's no saves. That's unusual. We ended up getting power back around midnight, so that was a pleasant surprise. Because I was continually checking the website from my phone for the power company, and it just kept saying that it was going to be 7:25 or something like that today when our power was restored. But we'll take midnight, right? So my wife uses a fan, so the fan kicked on at midnight, and we knew power was around, so we went around and plugged everything back in, because I went through the house and unplugged everything because it was like a brownout condition, and like I would hear my refrigerator trying to turn on, and immediately shutting off, right? It was like, and I was afraid it was going to burn up the motor in it. Module maker. Okay, let's try that. Close. That sounds scary, hearing everything try to turn on. Yeah, it was really weird. Like, the power went out, the light was on. We flipped it off. I was like, oh, it won't turn back on. I flipped the light on because I thought maybe it was just one of those CF bulbs were just like still had a little bit of residual glow or something. No, it came back on, about 30% power. And it did that for at least an hour. You could still flip things on. We ended up driving around so that we could charge up our cell phones and stuff for the night. Seeing what other people in our neighborhood, because the next block down still had street lights and everything. It was kind of hit and miss where it had power and where it didn't. It was kind of weird. And then when we came back, we were driving on our road where they had power still. And I'm looking at the house, and all the lights in the street go off. The rest of them, right? So everybody lost power at that point. So, and then from then on, like flipping the switches didn't do anything. Let's do single player. That is module maker. Let's play this world. So, Deltrick, I don't know if it was you who suggested this the other day. I mentioned that I had a server that we were building modules on. And yeah, exactly. By that time, it was like close to 10 o'clock at night. So yeah, they lost power. That stinks, but it's not end of the world kind of thing. You're in bed, close to it by then. It's on a work night. I think it was you that was suggesting that I create a 112 version of all those modules we created. Oh, there's no world edit here. Dang. To the hub. That's what I want to do. So it's still the same thing, right? This is the original Demon Depths that we built in Minecraft, but what is this? This is new. Yeah. So this is that world where we built all the modules for the originals. Connections. Find all exits and allow the player through. Uniques needs at least 2 exits. That's not a true statement or a completely true statement. It needs 2 exits on different sides, like north, south, east, west. End. Only needs 1 exit. Dead end. Well, that's not true. Separate chunks for clarity. What is somebody trying to do? Okay, this whole section of this map is brand new, so CZ must have done this for somebody. Mobility is difficult during mid and late game. Large responsible on module builds for bounce and looks. Lack of purpose after early game. Yeah, there is. Navigation is difficult, but squares and floor levels help. MC limits mechanics and art style. Solved with MC updates. What were they thinking with this stuff? Are they thinking vertical chunks? A connector? I don't know. Huh. Okay, well that's not what I came here for. I want to get to the original spawn. I don't remember where it's at exactly. Oh, nice. Yeah, we teleport inside. I think it's around here somewhere. By this stuff. Okay, that was the original thing there. This must be spawn. It is. Okay, so I gave myself a scanner one. I don't want to scan from that high up because that's ridiculous. So what if I scanned from this height? So that. And this is a area that we want to make sure that we get the bottom connectors blocked off so that you can't fall out of the world. So we'll scan from that other corner to there. And what I'm trying to do is set up some basic mechanics based off of what we've done before so that I can start working on not just the building of a module section, but the building of the actual game mechanics. The weapon system, the enemy spawning, the placing of torches, using ladders, those type of things are where my code will need to go, and I need some world to test with to do that. And this is a quick way for me to get a world to test with, even if it's not the final thing. So scan. I'm going to name all of these with DD at the beginning so I can remember that they're from the original. And then I'm going to say spawn in this case, because this is the original spawn. Oh no, location 2 not set. So let me do this again. Right click there. And shift right click there. There we go. Kill Minecraft for 30 seconds. This could take a while launching this into Blender. It's hard to say. Or it will outright crash because I forgot something. What did I forget? I forgot to build the latest version of the mod. So let's go to the mod folder, CD, dir, I guess, CD MC2 Blender, Gradle W. Build, I think it is. I say that with a very uncertain voice, but I know that's what it is. So while that's building, we need to find the folder for our instance. Folder instance. And then we need to get our location for where we're building it into. It's probably going to beat me. See it almost done over there. Minecraft Blender. Yeah, it's done already. Build libraries. There it is. And in here, mods. We're just going to replace one for the other. There we go. Now I can launch it again. Oh, wait. Kill. Yes. Why did I do that? Because I want to change the configs. So you pick up the latest changes. There we go. Now we can run it. Did it try and create it in here? Let's see. Scene sections. Doesn't look like it. Hopefully, it should keep my place, right? I don't think I forced killed the Minecraft instance, so it should have saved my location. Because I don't have to find the spawn again. That picture thing is cool. It showed me where I was. Okay, so shift right click on you. And right click on you. Scan, DD, spawn. It's gonna scan, and then we're gonna get a Blender window, and the Blender window this time will have a console, which is how I knew it wasn't the right version. There we go. And we can look at the console window while it's sitting here spewing through stuff. Come on. It's working. It should be pretty efficient in this one. There's a lot of air blocks in this particular module. It's not a solid stone structure. So that'll help. What this tells me is, so in order to be consistent and make these quick and easy like I want, I'm gonna have to scan from down one block beneath the gold block at least. This one's got 2. Hopefully that's not an issue. It is. Okay. That'll be fun. Maybe we'll use that one as an example. That's more than one as well. That's a new one though. That's the new one. That's an old one. Where's the module I made? Over here. It's the same way. But one block beneath would work. Yeah. Because there's nothing beneath this level. Okay, Blender, you still doing your thing? You're still doing your thing. Could I multi-thread this? Ooh. Launch 2 Blender instances, having them both write different ones? Probably not. I'm already at 60% CPU between everything else I got going on my system. Unless that's a 60% that can go over 100. Doesn't look like it. They're all around the same. Unless that's at the current clock speed that can be turbo boosted up more. We're at 3.8. Already turbo boosted. Meh, let's try it. Let's find one to scan. So from one block below, and this one's pretty solid. So let's say if we went like this high, maybe 2 or 3 more, and shift right click there, scan DD connector 1. And it just dies. That's still running. Cool. What are we doing to my CPU? 87%. Not bad. I wouldn't go more than 2. Not while I'm streaming. Got the memory. That's not an issue at all. We're using more for Minecraft. See how it slows? This is the one that we started originally. This is the new one. See how it slows down over time? I wish there was a way to keep it linear in the terms of performance. Negatives. Let's see, so 32 across. Yeah, it is. It very, very is. So it's 32 across. That means 16 something is our width, our middle point. And we're at 8.5 on the one axis. That's negative, and this is 14, and that one's just starting. So this has gone from 16 to 8.5. It's still got a ways to go. The more air it runs into, the faster it should run, though. Yeah. So this one's going to have a bunch of air mixed through it. Or is it? This one. So it's a bunch of air in the middle, right? A bunch of air in the middle, a bunch of air in the middle. Whereas this one has blocks around the outside. That's about it. And then stuff in the middle on that level. Down here is all hollow. Yeah, go for it. This is a great Q&A time because I'm kind of just waiting on it. By not scanning those empty parts, wouldn't it be faster? It would from a disk I/O perspective, yes. But literally it's finding that it's air and just going to the next block. It's not doing anything from a Blender perspective that would be significant. It's not spawning a single thing, right? And that seems to be what's causing this slowdown is the more objects it gets, it takes longer. Before I did the spawn a template in and then make a duplicate of its data, of its mesh data, it was extremely slow. It was a significantly worse exponential decrease in speed. Like Bedrock part with the command blocks, if Blender slows down over time. Right. I don't need those from the perspective of testing, I guess. But what I wanted them in there for is the way my modules work, and showing that other one is probably the best way. So all these gold blocks on a connector need to be open. Those gold blocks represent the connection points. They're not actually part of what we would scan in, so we're only going to scan the stone that's in my feet. We're not going to scan those. But right here is where a doorway of another module will hook up, right? So we can walk out that door. And a connector, by its definition, needs to allow the player to go to any of the other gold blocks, basically, on all three levels. So it's the thing that will join it all together, so that you can go from a connector to any possible unique. Unique are the other ones here. Like, this is probably unique. Let's take a look on the inside. It is. Maybe. Yeah, so that door that was over here, there's no way for it to connect here. Oh, our connection point's going to be used in the Unity part. They will, but they're not going to be a physical thing that we need to represent. And in fact, even in this Minecraft version of the game, they didn't have to physically be a thing. They were just there so as we build, we know that we need to open a doorway that match up to this on all connectors. And then from the Unique's perspective, we know that we need one doorway on one side and another doorway on another. So like this one has a connection on the south and the north side at a minimum. Looks like it's also got one on this side, but not all of them. It's just how the setup works for the checkerboard pattern. If you think of a checkerboard pattern and being black and white tiles, then let's say the white tiles are connectors, and make sure you can get to any other black tile section. That one might be done. No, it's just running slow. It was going so slow there for a second, I thought it was done. So it's going Z coordinate first, then Y. So it's going to scan from the bottom all the way up along one side, then go over a block, then go all the way up. Yeah, and it's gonna go row by row, going this way, and then it's gonna come back and go row by row on this one. Yeah. So the outer row is gonna take the longest because it's gonna have the most solid blocks on both of these probably. Because we've got that outer shell around this, where this bedrock is, right? That's a completely solid thing. And the first and the last row would be the slowest of them all, because it's going to be 100% solid. We're at 12. -4. Well, while we're doing this, maybe we can start writing some code in Unity. Because I've got this fancy torch that I made here. If I open this as a prefab somehow. There we go. Focus on it. Where is it? Gosh, that's tiny. Got the point light on it. Point light has that big of an area. Let's give it a reddish color, I guess. Maybe an orangish color. Sorry, my wife's messaging me. There we go. Let's see if she wants me to let the dog out or not. Let's give it that color. We'll leave it with soft shadows. Near plane, normal bias. Okay. Let's save that. What's the cube about? The cube's just the box. That's the parent, okay. So on our rigid body controller, we don't have any of my scripts. We have only the default Unity stuff for that type of prefab. Still going strong. Let's add a new one. Player interactions. Player. DD player. Call it that. So recognize that it's my player stuff. Okay. Where'd it go? It opened it, but it didn't open it. There we go. So on start, I don't know, we're gonna need start. We'll leave it there for the moment. We need a public. I'll do private serializable field. Serializable field. Private torch. A game object. Torch. Let's go into Unity. Grab our prefab scene. Put that on our player slot. And we don't have an inventory system at the moment. So let's assume that the player's got a bunch of them. And we will look for on click events. So we'll say if input dot get mouse down. And your friendly user press it. Yep, that's what we want. What's the method? Yeah, button. So is it input dot mouse button. No, it's not gonna look good. I want to say that it's 2 for the right click, but I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll find out. So we'll instantiate torch. And for right now, we're going to give it the location. We don't want the parent transform, we wanted a location. So this dot position transform dot position. So our player, right? And quaternion dot identity. Don't care about the parent. For the moment, we don't care about the parent. Okay, let's make sure that that works. So that should spawn a torch at her feet. All right, -1. Oop. Okay, so middle click is the button 2. So it's button 1 then. And 0 must be the left. Okay, so we can spawn a torch. It's not like I want it, but it's going to do for the moment. So if we walk out here, we can place a torch in the hallway and get the light. Look at those things freaking out. Okay, so torch mechanics started. So let's do button 1. Right mouse button. This is the DD player. Let's create another object. Create empty. Okay. Double click it. There's our arrow prefab that we're going to build. We're going to create a 3D cube. Said 3D cube is going to be 1.1. Oh, it's the collider. I'm like, why is it not resizing? Recreate object. We want to do this. 1.1. Come on. So that's going to represent the arrow for the time being. Let's add, oh wait, in here. It's got the mesh collider there. We should add the rigid body here. It's going to use gravity in this case. It's going to continuous collisions. We will freeze rotation along one of the axes. We wouldn't want it to rotate sideways. We'd only want it to go like this, and I don't care if it rolls. So roll is which axis? I believe it is the z-axis. Nope, that's the one we want to have for being able to pitch it down or up. We shoot it. This is the axis we don't want to allow, so it's the y-axis, and then rolls along that. Okay, so let's reset our transform, and we will freeze the y-axis in this case for rotation. It is not kinematic. I think we're good. Save. Go back to our script here. We'll go to another serializable field. Private game object arrow. And we will drag the arrow in. Not from this one, though. We gotta wait for it to compile. Over halfway done and like 6 blocks in. Such progress. Arrow into there. And in our code, we will say if input dot get button down 0, get mouse button down, left mouse button. We will instantiate this time the arrow. Only we will say game object. Game object like that. Geo equals that. Then we'll go geo dot get component rigid body. So rigid body. Oop. RB equals all that. RB dot set is a velocity. No. Dot add force. And we will add a force along the x-axis. We moved it along the x-axis. That is correct. Ooh. Okay. Let's actually reset the transform completely here because it's up off the ground for some reason. So vector 3 dot forward, I believe, is the x-axis one. So that's the z forward. Z's forward. Okay. So do we make it z forward? We make it z forward. How do we do that? We flip this with this. And then that means, z's this one. So we need to change which one can rotate on. So we're saying we can't rotate on the y. If we rotate it on the y, it does this. That's still the right one. We want to reset those. There we go. So now we just say forward. So we're going to spawn an arrow and we're going to give it a force that'll move it forward. We're going to also set a serializable field here that is private, and it's going to be a float, and it's going to say force amount. We're going to set that force amount to a default of 1, and we're going to multiply our forward vector by the force amount. Let's let that compile. Chunk. It might be tomorrow before we see those things in Blender. From a stream perspective, I'll see it tonight, but I've only streamed for so long tonight. Okay, that's done compiling. We should be able to run the game. Yeah, I know, right? There is our arrow sitting on the ground. Okay, obviously we need more force. And we need to lift up where it's spawning it at, which we can fix. They are rigid bodies though, because we can move them around. As opposed to the torch, which is stationary and stops us from moving into it. Okay, so Control Shift P, or Control P. Let's get another transform here. So private serialized field, a private transform arrow spawn point. Bingo. Okay, and just let that compile. We'll open this up now. Now we're on the rigid body controller itself. And we need to get, let's do a true side view here. Need to create a new empty arrow spawn point. PAWN point. Okay. Can I get both of you on the screen at the same time? Thank you. That's gonna move you both, isn't it? Okay. Let's do a top view. Good thing I did top view. Okay, that's probably good enough. So go ahead and apply all these. Go into this and grab the arrow spawn point, put it there. Then we will say, instead of this dot transform, we will say arrow spawn point. So it spawns it in where that little marker is, basically. Right in our face. We will shoot arrows from our face. Till I get a bow and all that in here. Ooh. If we're even gonna have bows in here, I don't know. Okay, it's spawning in front of our face now. The rotation should not be quaternion identity. It should be the rotation of the player. Rotation of the player's camera, even, right? Ugh. Let's see. Control Shift P. Our rotation is nothing. The camera is nothing. What is going on? Maybe I need to look down a bit. Our rotation's nothing. 180. How's the camera looking down? Oh, it's the prefab. 98.8 and 0. Okay, let's look down more. Our horizontal side-to-side rotations on the player. And the camera gets the vertical rotation. How cool is that? Give me all of the space, please. Thank you. Quaternion dot this dot transform dot rotation that's gonna get the side to side rotation. Once it compiles. There we go. Stuck in a pile of arrows. Okay, so we got the side-to-side rotation. And please, can we get some speed out of these? Give it 10. Make them do a thing. Nothing. $100. Oh, it's moving. Not in the orientation I expected. Moving to the side. Oh, okay. Huh. Why do they want to stand up? It's kind of creepy. Not gonna worry about that, but that's creepy. So it's probably this dot transform forward. The forward direction of the arrow itself. So the forward direction of the world space. Oh, right, there's no speed on them again. I was like, why are they just dropping, basically? Yeah, they're shooting forward now. Like, they need a whole nother magnitude of force. There we go! They need power 1000. Oh, and they don't angle up because we're not getting that rotation. Okay, so let's get that rotation. So I'm gonna hack it for the moment. Famous last words. Camera dot main dot. Yeah. No. Yes. No. I've heard that you're not supposed to do that in your update because it's not performant. So we'll get a camera. My cam, just cam, equals that, and that needs to be defined as a private up here. And then we'll say cam. I think this is what I'm supposed to do. Cam dot transform. Dot rotation. Can't add rotations. Quaternion dot change the angle in degrees between the two rotations. It's not really what I want. I want to dot the dot product. I think that's what I want. We'll find out. So I want to combine the rotations together. Did not take. Can I convert float? What float? Oh, it returns a float. Are you kidding me? Oh crap, I thought it was returning another quaternion. Okay, so quaternion. This dot transform dot rotation dot Euler angles. What did that return? Vector 3. If I add them together and then set up another quaternion that's new based off of that, maybe? Vector 3 EU ang equals that. Okay. Quaternion dot Euler angles returns a okay, so EU angles. I think that'll do what I want, but I'm not more than 50% sure on that one. New rotation equals transform and other rotations. Multiplying apparently adds. First off, let's get our speed set to 1,000 right off the bat. And I think our angle is it's all over the place. It's definitely changing, but it seems to be doing the opposite of what I'm if I look down it goes up. So let's do what you're saying. Boop, 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 and then multiply. Oops, there's errors. Other thing I could do is just cheat. Make the arrow's spawn point a child of the camera. Yeah, it's not quite doing what I wanted either. I don't think. I'm not sure if it's hitting our face. And that's the issue. Let's not maximize on play anymore. I want to have both views, please. Come on. Control Shift B. Give me my mouse back. That's to capture the mouse as soon as I put it over the window. And I can't see what I'm clicking on. There. There we go. Control Shift B. It's actually moving us backwards. Did I? Oh, is order important? I'm not sure. Let it compile. Blender's at 5.5 out of 16. Yeah, it's not going. So let's do this. Let's move this as a child of our camera. Yeah, open the prefab, please. There we go. And then if we take Not the transform of this, or not the transform of the camera. Yeah, if you wait long enough, it will. We want to take the transform rotation. Rotation of the arrow small point. Yeah, so when you change the code when you're in running, and then switch back over to Unity, if you look down in the bottom right hand corner, which you can't see because of me. Let me turn my camera off for a second. So down here in this right hand corner, if I change the code and save, if I do something meaningful to the code, var test, save, it compiles. You can see it spinning down here for just a second. That's it's compiling and inserting the code. You'll see a pause in the game too. It won't run right. And that's happening. Oh, and now I've got an error. See, right now it's doing it too. It's compiling, that's why I'm not even bothering clicking the button. Okay, now it's done. Okay, it's working. No, it doesn't look like it's working, but it's working. It's because this forward point is facing backwards. We need to give it no rotation, so it points forward. Arrows! Yay! Machine guns. Okay, what do I see next? I see that we need to despawn these after a time. Right? We don't want them to go on forever. And if I shoot up in the air, eventually falls. It's cool how they roll and stuff. Let's take a look here on our arrow. Open its prefab. I don't think there's any way we can influence where the gravity is pulling harder. So like, I want the tip of the arrow to come down, kind of thing, right? I don't want it to fly level and just drop like this. I want it to rotate down as it comes down. It's gonna be harder to calculate, so we'll need to know the angle of velocity, basically, and start manipulating it based on that, I think. So as our velocity increases downward and decreases forward, I've never had to do that in Unity before. I've always used like some type of projectile that was so stinking fast that it didn't drop enough to make it warranted. We're still going. We're gonna have this huge, all of a sudden, lag spike in Unity where it's importing this new Blender file. Well, let's add a script to our arrow script, right? So Deltrick, have you used Unity before? Just based on your question, it sounds like you were surprised by that, so I'm assuming you've used it before? Let's see. On collision, enter. Yeah, I used Unity a bit with playing around with it. Still not good. Still got a good ways of learning to go. Okay. I was curious because I remember it being this way when you do add component and just type in the name of the script that you want to create and just hit enter twice, it would automatically create it. It doesn't do that anymore. Oh, wow. Multiplayer, in my mind, is very difficult. I've made a few attempts, and the Unity multiplayer stuff just didn't seem to be ready when I was trying it long ago. Not for the level of complexity that I wanted to dig into. Okay, so let's on collision enter. Start a timer. Forge Network Remaster is what I was used it for. Okay. So I was using the Unity netcode. Not netcode, it was something else. Network Manager and stuff like that. And it was okay, but it took a lot of tweaking of the defaults to get the sync right. And that was what was driving me nuts. And I didn't think that it was right that they said it that way. Like, you should be able to just drop the component on and go kind of thing. Not have to fiddle with the settings and try and discover what they need to sync rate at and all this stuff. There's a free solution that you could self-host and not have to sign up, although multiplayer got a bunch of changes recently. Yeah. Yeah, I know that since I worked with it, I think it's changed as well. For Unit, yeah. So private float. We'll say serializable on it because I love seeing things in the inspector for some bizarre reason. We'll call it TTL, which just stands for time to live. And we'll default it to like 100. I don't know. And then in update, that's way too long. What am I talking about? And we'll say private bool has hit. And it's going to equal false by default. I don't like that all of the other multiplayer libraries, you had to go through them and pay for stuff like CCU and data. Yeah, I'd much rather just allow self-hosting of players, or if there was an official server host off a Linux server. Exactly. That's what I was messing with when I messed with the multiplayer in Unity the most, was I actually got a build working for Unity that was a headless build, meaning you didn't have any graphics at all, so it could run the host like you run a Minecraft server, right? If you run a Minecraft server on Linux, you don't set up any graphics at all, right? And it makes it much more efficient. Yeah. I figured out how to do that in Unity. It was not a simple thing. It was the same executable as what you'd play the game from, except it was a Linux build of it. And there was some checks that you could do to see if there was a graphics environment, basically. I probably got the code set around somewhere. I hope, because I might get dusted off and use it again for another project someday. Maybe this one. So we'll say has hit equals true here. I'm just used to like networking in Minecraft. That was a big change. Yeah. I don't. I get why they're doing that, right? So somebody's got to pay for it if they're hosting the servers, but I'd rather have players host their own servers, like you're saying, or me host my own server. So if it's hit, so update if has hit. Then we would do this stuff, and this stuff is going to be what? TTL equals TTL minus time dot delta time. If TTL is less than or equal to 0, then destroy. But we don't just say destroy with this. We do this dot game object, because if you don't, then it destroys the script, and then nothing really looks like it happens, but it just gets rid of the script. What? Oh, object to destroy. So okay, this dot game object dot destroy. What? What does it tell me? There we go. Money tactic allows them charging for all data. Lots of Reddit hosts don't even have data caps or pay for data. Exactly. Yeah, you can get set up an Amazon server pretty cheap. And if you get really slick with it, if you have a large player load, you can automate spinning them up and stuff and shutting them off so that you don't have to get charged for them all the time. You know, start another server every time there's 10 more players going, kind of thing, or whatever the number would be. So this dot game object. And that should do it. So let's run. Check on Blender again. We're at 8.5. We're almost there. Only ever used OVH, but yeah, advanced stuff. That sounds like it'd work better. Cool. So they hit and they despawn once they've done a hit after so long. And we can adjust what that time is. TTL is 1 second basically right now. So Control Shift P. Let's make it 10 seconds just for the fun of it. There they go, they start disappearing. Throwable brick sticks, yep. Oh, this is prototyping, right? So obviously the graphics will change. Basically me killing time until this other thing is ran so I can generate an actual world to test with for stuff. I think 10 seconds is probably a good amount of time. Players are probably going to forget about it by then or not care. You'll see where you've hit and all that stuff. Let's on collision enter. So let's do this. We're going to say required component. Yep, rigid body. Type of rigid body. So that's going to force this script to add a rigid body component if it doesn't already exist on it. So then we're going to say rigid body RB equals get component rigid body. And this allows us to not have to do a null check on that because we know that there's going to be rigid body there because this requires it. RB dot. Oh, what's it called? There's a freeze rotation. We can freeze position too, I guess, huh? Dot freeze rotations. Oh, what was it? Origin was something. There's a. Oh. True. RB dot position. Constraints. That's what I want to look for. Constraints. And what is it? Data type. Rigid body constraints equals rigid body constraints dot freeze all. So now, if I run, it hit us. I think that's what's happening. It's definitely freezing like I wanted it to, right? That's cool. Let us do this. We'll say debug dot log. Yeah, log. Collision dot transform dot name. So the name of the thing we hit. It's paused right now. I can't move my mouse because it's recompiling. Okay, if I click and then look at our console. Rigid body controller. Okay, so how do we fix for that? Pain in the butt, it sounds like, right? I'm gonna cheat. We're gonna put this on the player layer. Player. Boop. Player. Yes, change all the children. Did we change it in here? We did not. Let's change it in here. Okay, then let's go to our arrow. Where are you, arrow? Prefabs. Players. There we go. Open prefab. We're going to put you on a different layer called arrow. And this arrow prefab shall be on arrow layer. Yes, change the children. Now we can go to settings and say physics. Arrow cannot interact with player. Boom. And that means that if we use the same arrow object on a player or on a mob, that they won't be able to hit each other. It also means we can walk through the arrows. So we can shoot them right into the roof, shoot them at the floor, shoot them into each other. That's cool. Unintended side effects. Shoot them at the torches even. Our arrows even cast shadows. What did you hit? Just hit another arrow. Control Shift P, what are we hitting? Lots of arrows hitting arrows. We've got, well, okay, so it hit the start area. Unique 1, so it hit another prefab. Okay. Are we done, or are we just at a snail space? Snail space. CPU is cooking along. Memory's okay on both of them. We're good. I guess this prevents us from doing something like this now that we're no longer colliding with them, using them for steps to get around. I could have done that before. Wonder if I can embed them into the thing that they hit by allowing them to go forward for like 3 more frames or something. Yeah. Yeah, like everything I'm doing, I'm like I said, I'm prototyping, so I'm not sure that I want them to not be able to interact with the player. There's other ways to check if it's the player on the collision to like not destroy the arrow kind of thing, if we wanted to. Private float time to embed equals 0.03 f. Time to embed. If it has hit, and time to embed is greater than or equal or is less than 0. That's equal to 0. Then we will say this stuff. So we're moving the part where we're disabling movement down to here. And we'll say time to embed equals time to embed minus time.delta time. So it'll still move for 0.03 seconds. A little bit, right? Okay, I might need to increase it a little bit. 0.1 tenth of a second. Oh, it's scooting along the ground then. Okay, that's right, because we're not a trigger. If we set ourselves up as a trigger collider, that would be different. Yeah, they're just kind of snapping into place. I don't like the way it's working right now. Let's try it as a trigger. So that means our method here gets changed. We can get rid of this debug log. No longer need that one. Let's put it as a commented out section. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. And it'll be private on. Can I finish typing before you decide what you want to put in there for me? Private void on trigger enter. And when you say has hit equals true. Okay, and this is a trigger. So now the objects in the world can pass through the arrow, or the arrow can pass through objects in the world that have colliders on them. So, boop, it goes clean through the wall. Now, is that because we didn't actually hit something? Debug.log hit. Okay. Let compile. Okay, we are getting the word hit spammed, so let's check our arrow script and check out what its timer is, because maybe the time to drift or whatever is too long. It's 1/10 of a second, 0.03 like I had originally. Boop, boop. There we go, we're getting stuck on the wall. 0.003. Boop. There we go. Now it embeds itself in the wall. I kind of want to shoot these straight up in the air. Avert your eyes. Oh, I can't. The rigid body controller doesn't allow me to look straight up. Mouse look. Maximum. Clamp vertical rotation. There we go. Now we can turn our head all the way and snap our neck. I don't know what's 90 degrees up. Yeah. Those are going the other way. There we go. We did it. They went straight up and hit each other. Right? That's why they're just sitting up there in the air. So they can collide with each other. Oh, those went through the floor. That's not cool. If they get enough speed, they go clean through the floor. So watch you fall back down. No, you didn't fall through the floor. Yeah, let's turn the seizure warning on. Let's get rid of those objects, I guess. I don't know. World controller. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. You. Say 2. It's gonna air off a bit because I don't have a unique and a cool. Yeah, it didn't like it. So 3. That's a connector. We need 1 unique. Dang it. Oh well, there's no way to fix it right now. Until I get the Blender files in that we're loading up. So close. We'll just stay inside the starting area. That'll work. How are they up there casting a shadow down there? Apparently this building is not blocking light. That not cool. There's a good representation of how far it goes in. It's still a bit extreme. Prefab arrow. 0.03. 0.01 maybe? So you'll travel for like 1/10 of a second? Seriously? Wow. Skadoosh. What if we added some particle effects? Oh, what am I doing? New, create empty, smoke. I don't know. Dust. Call it dust. Let's just drag it down here. Got it as a prefab. Open the prefab. Add a component. Particle system. Why is it so spooky? We're in the game view, that's why. So duration of 1 second? No looping. Way too long. 0.1. Emission. Whoop. That's good. Renderer. Material. Where did all these come from? Oh, okay. Burnout. We got one for smoke already in here? Yeah. About dust. Sure, dust storm. Okay, time to live is way too long. Lifetime. 1. Restart. 0.5. Okay. So there's our dust particle. We will, on this arrow controller, add a game object, private game object, dust. And we will name it something. You know what? No. Yeah, we'll leave this in here like this, but I was going to spawn it at runtime. We don't want to do that. We want to do something different. Instead, we'll keep it as part of the game object already, the arrow itself. So where's my prefab? Boop, dust. We'll just pop you right in there. And you will not play on start because you'll be disabled. Okay, and then on this, we've got a reference to the dust here. And we will just say on hit, dust.set active true. Now we run it. Yep, there's dust. It's hard to see, but it's there. Let's do this too. Where is dust at? Okay, we set its transform. That's probably part of the problem. In the center. Where is forward on this? So I'm assuming Z going forward is that way. Okay, so we will make the dust particles towards the back a little bit, so like where it's not getting stuck. And can we rotate them 180? And let's look at the emission shape. Please, can you show? Oh, we got to get there. There we go. It's going to emit in that general direction. That's probably fine. Save, run. There we go. It's subtle. Are they hitting me? Why am I bumping? Am I stuck in the ground? Why am I shaking? Arrow art. Make a stick, man. I think they need more speed and less time on the screen. Exactly. Robin Hood, 600 of them together. 0.25 is this time, and start speed will be 10. So it's like forceful. It takes impact, right? We're 11.5. I'm not gonna make it to the end of this, guys. I'm already getting messages from my wife asking me to let the dog out for bed and stuff. I know it'll be there for tomorrow's stream, right? It's got to be done by tomorrow. I'll let it run all night. I don't care. See, barely any of that arrow, and then whatever that arrow. Yeah, we can just shoot through that wall now. Cool. I'll have to fix that sometime. Oh, we can't jump on him, right? The easiest way to fix the arrow on arrow on arrow thing is just go into this project settings and say arrows cannot collide with arrows. So now, if you Robin Hood it, they're all just stacked in one spot. You can't shoot an arrow into an arrow. That's more like traditional games, right? Please stop. Let's do this. Go to the arrow prefab. And on the cube. Yep, on the cube. 0.05. 0.05. The arrow seems really big, right? Let's make it smaller. Not that this is the final shape, but that at least feels better. Oh, that's cool. I can see the dust from over there in the dark. Cool. Just needs like a sound effect or something though. Wall casts no shadow, but the arrows do. Okay, guys, that's gonna have to be all for tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will catch you guys probably tomorrow. And we'll hopefully have these Blender files done so that we can work with them. They're at 11.5 out of 16, so pretty close. Good night. Bye.